All right, this is my lunch today. I had oatmeal this morning. That's on my last video. But I have a half a cup of brown basmati rice. And then I made a quick vegetable curry with, oh gosh, I've got kombucha, squash in here. I've got peppers, onions, garlic, ginger. What else? Broccoli. I've got peas. And it's right here. I made a big pot of it. It's so good. It smells so wonderful. And so I actually am sorry I didn't do a cook with me to show you, but I was trying to upload on the last video when I was making this, so couldn't do two things at once. I got cilantro on top, and this is just going to be so good. It smells amazing. All right, well, it would be an understatement to tell you that that lunch, that curry, vegetable curry, was one of the most delicious things I've had in a while. It was really good. So if you want to do like a cook with me, I'll make it again. And I'll show you how I made it because it was so tasty, even though it didn't look like much. Yum. Alright, so we are here at the track, and I've got two of the boys here. I'm going to be doing some walking. Oh. Morning. It is Thursday, the 11th of January, and I'm just getting some breakfast going. And I wanted to try a new recipe this morning. So I have all this persimmon I have to use, but I'm really having a hard time finding, a recipe for persimmon cookies that doesn't use sugar. And persimmons are extremely sweet, so I think that that's kind of interesting. But anyway, I did find one, and it uses, well, I'll show you what I'm going to put in it. But now, it's really hard to make something like this and not go up in points, but I'm trying to stick with whole foods, so sometimes you run into this when you start adding grains and definitely any kind of nut. So let me show you what's going in it. Okay, so here's my bowl. I have a half cup of oats, which I usually have a half cup of oats in the morning. I've got 2 teaspoons of flax seeds. Now the uncooked oats are coming up as 4 points instead of 5, so I guess the cooked oats, I'm assuming, probably is more reactive to your blood sugar, maybe because it's already broken down, so maybe it hits it a little quicker. Whereas these ones would probably move through your system a little bit more. And then I've got 2 teaspoons of flaxseed meal for 1 point. And then the recipe called for a 1/4 cup of the flaked unsweetened coconut. But that is 10 points for a 1/4 cup. So I went with 1/8 of a cup for, I believe it was 4 points actually. And it also called for 2 tablespoons of the raisins, and I'm going to chop them. But of course, raisins are point heavy, so I only went with 1 tablespoon, and I think that's what I'm going to rely on, because then I think that's like 4 points. And it's a dried fruit, so it's not a 0 point. I do use 1 banana, a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, and just like a pinch of ground cardamom. And then I have 3 tablespoons of persimmon pulp, which I'm kind of bummed out it doesn't use more, but I can't wait to try these. A 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. So I'm going to mix the dry ingredients all together, and then I'm going to mush all the wet ingredients all together. I'll put them together, and then I'll bake them at 350 for 18 to 20 minutes. And I'm going to use them in something else. And altogether, this recipe is going to be 11 points, and it says that it makes enough for 2, but honestly, who's gonna make a bowl of oatmeal with half a cup of oats and then split it? I'm sorry, I'm eating all of these by myself. Okay, so while I'm waiting for those to cook, I wanted to go over a few facts about cabbage with you in case it helps anybody else. I was pleasantly surprised to hear some extra things about it that I didn't know. Now, you know I love my coleslaw, right? I love cabbage. I love kimchi. I know that it's really good for your gut. It's got a lot of vitamins, A, B, C, K, and E, I believe it is, potassium, sulfur, copper. It's a really good source of these nutrients. But I wanted to read to you something else I found out about it that you might not know. Using cabbage externally. Cabbage leaves made into a poultice, or poultice, I'm not quite sure how to say that, but what that is like a mash made out of vegetables or plant matter. So you can mash it or dry it and make a powder. And that can be applied externally to heal wounds, fractures, sprains, burns, and joint inflammation caused by rheumatism, arthritis, and gout. Amazing. The juice can be applied to the skin in the treatment of eczema and acne. Cabbage leaves placed on the eyes can relieve local inflammation. So cabbage is amazing. So I just wanted to share that with you in case you didn't know some of those. I did not know. Although I think that, I was thinking about it, I'm like, if I had an open wound or something, I think I'd want to use organic cabbage. Anyway, probably something to talk to your doctor about. Go cut your arm off and then stick, a bunch of cabbage mash in it without consulting the doctor first. All right, I will see you in a minute when the cookies are done. All right, I wanted to have those little breakfast cookies with something that was creamy, and I was looking at the yogurts. Again, I'm trying to avoid dairy because I'm relating to my child who can't have dairy, and so trying to figure out something else. So I was scanning his yogurt. The coconut yogurt is like 10 points for like one serving. I'm sorry, but these cookies are already 11 points. I'm not going to go there. So I had some frozen bananas, and I had this dessert bullet that I haven't used in a while. I know what I said about bananas before, but I'm going to try to make a creamy dessert out of my frozen banana. So I'll show you what that's like.
Jesus the best.
All right, here's my breakfast parfait, and I put just 1 tablespoon of the light Cool Whip on top because I have to live too, and this is going to be great. All right, well, I had 3 little gremlins that came up, and they all wanted to share, so I gave them half, so I'm only counting half of the points, and I actually went high, so I'm claiming 7 points for breakfast. And these guys really liked them, so it was a good thing.